Hey everyone, Toshi here. Let's talk really quickly. So I want to talk about the two best choices here on this banner. I'm going to say Bronya and Bailu. These two characters are going to be characters that are future proof in my opinion. Bailu, if you didn't know, she has a revive in her kit, which is very, very, very valuable, especially when you do tackle harder content. A lot of us in the CBT have been tackling a little bit of the beginner mid-level content. None of us have really been tackling the true end game, which is the higher difficulties in the Forgotten Hall. I just wanted to mention, or Simulated Universe, excuse me. I just want to mention that, and also the later stages of the Forgotten Hall, we also haven't been able to tackle. And I really do believe a character like Bailu will be really, really good whenever you have the true hard stages in the game. Using this character in the later stages of Abyss, I believe will be really valuable because she has a revive in her kit. Also, the sheer healing she puts out is definitely rivals Natasha's healing. So not only just having the healing Natasha has, the 4-star free unit we all get, but having a revive in case one of your teammates die, I think is very, very valuable and definitely future proof because she does what no other character can do in the game as of right now, which is revive. Next up, Bronya. Remember I talk about this character all the time whenever I can because I love her. I think she's an amazing character, another future proof design. If you did not know, she pushes up the CR of one of your allies, allows them to take the turn. You've probably seen her with the infamous, Bronya Seal combination videos where they have a Bronya pushing up the CR of a Seal, and then Seal is constantly taking a turn and then just doing absolutely amazing damage because Bronya gives a crit damage buff. She also gives an attack buff, and she gives an overall damage increase buff. So all that, into one kit while increasing the CR of the character she pushes up is kind of nasty. And the ultimate buff is actually a team wide damage buff, which is insane. So this character is going to be really good going forward. And I think these two are probably going to be the best bets for your account. This guy here, Jetpart, I think he's good, but I don't think he's better than these two. Because his kit, all he really does is give shields. And I mean, March 7th can give a shield, especially let's say you have Clara, right? If you have Clara, Jetpart is kind of useless. Not saying he's useless, but 4-star can do his job, which is give a shield, especially when you want the ally to be targeted. So I think in this example like this, Jetpart is kind of out the gate here, not as useful, but he's still a pretty good character. He gives shields to all your characters. I don't think he's. It's like a Zhongli, right? The Zhongli, we know what Zhongli does. He gives shields, so that's pretty much the best way to describe him. And then the rest of these characters, Yang Qing, a standard single target damage dealer. I don't think he's better than Seal. A lot of people have been saying he's better than Seal. I just don't believe that. Seal has a take turn in her kit, so if she kills the enemy, then she gets an additional turn. So that alone lets me know that Seal is going to need a lot more stats. If you give her the proper stats, she definitely will perform more than Yang Qing. Yang Qing just does damage. He doesn't have like a take turn like Seal does. If you have like Seal and Bronya, those two are probably better than a Bronya and Yangqing, right? Because I mean, once the turn is over, Yangqing doesn't get an additional turn. And I think situations like that is really going to matter, especially when you're tackling content where you kind of need to constantly go, right? And it's like the certain amount of turns before the battle or before you don't get the full rewards, right? So I think situations like that is going to matter, especially in the Forgotten Hall, is where that would take place. Well, really good character. He has the slows in his kit. The utility alone makes him a really solid choice because he's the only one out of every character here, as far as I know, that gives a slow. So yeah, just that utility alone is really good. You pair him with a character like Den Heng, really powerful. Those two I think are amazing synergy. But yeah, he also has pretty nice damage. But you mostly look at him for his utility, which is the slows he gives. And I mean, he gives like additional slows too, on top of the slows he already gives. So the slow he gives and the one he gives in his ult can stack, which is pretty nasty. Herda, I'm not Herda, excuse me, Himiko. Speaking of Herda, Himiko and Herda pair really well together. We, done countless videos on those two. I even showcased it, and there is videos on YouTube as well showing those two together. I think Himiko is a really solid AoE damage dealer. Definitely use her if you want to clear things fast and farm effectively. She's definitely your go-to character for sure. Clara, as I said before, the uses character, I don't think she's as good as people are is making out to be, but I'm not saying she's double S tier, definitely not. She's one of those characters where it's like if you're using her in any content other than Forgotten Hall, she's gonna be double S tier, sure. I mean, any tank where you can kind of have the enemy attack her more often than all of your other characters is gonna be good, right? Because you just build her for a lot of tanky stats, some crit rate, crit damage, and she's just going to melt, especially with her counterattacks. But when you have a game mode where it's kind of like you have to kill the enemy in a certain amount of turns, well, this character falls short. I mean, she just drops off a cliff because you want to build her slow with a lot of tanky stats. The reason why you build her slow is because you don't want her to constantly lap the enemy, because if she constantly laps the enemy, then you have to constantly keep using her ult in order to have the enemy counter or hit her so she can counterattack. And I think that alone is probably the reason why I wouldn't recommend her. I don't think she's a very nice beginner friendly character, especially like Bronya, Bailu, and all these other characters. They that also transition well to late game just because of their kits. I don't think she's a very good beginner friendly character. I've been using her, and I've only been rocking through the content because her damage numbers are high. I mean, in the beginning you can kind of make anything work, but like I said, I don't think she transitions too well into the late game as like these characters, right? Every other character here. But yeah, those are gonna be, like I said, my recommendation. Really, my recommendation: Bronya and Bailu. I think these two characters are amazing. Definitely the two characters I'm probably gonna go for the most. And I know this has changed from the videos we did previously, right? My recommendations at first were like Welt and Bronya, but that kind of changed. Den Heng can kind of perform well without having Welt. So part of me is like, okay, I want Bronya and Bailu. I think these two characters are gonna be really good to have on your account in single target damage dealer. I just like I said before, Seal is definitely a better choice than Yang. Like I said before, I don't think a limited character is going to be worse than a character you get on the standard banner. I just don't see a reality where that's possible. I don't think Hoyoverse would, do that. It doesn't make sense. Why would a limited character be worse than a character you can get on a standard banner? It just does not make sense. Especially Seal. I don't think Seal is worse than this guy. So yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. The reason why I would never go for Yang is because, well, if I have Seal, then I don't have the need to get another single target damage dealer like him, even though he does cover a different element. Well, every single target damage dealer wants to do one thing, right? That's one shot the enemy. I think no matter what stage you do, you can agree that your goal is to one shot the enemy. So the elements don't really matter too much. I mean, I guess if you're tackling like content where you're under leveled, then sure. But it's gonna come to the point in the game, right, where we have characters that have amazing stats, and we kind of just one shot everything anyways, right? So that's why I kind of lean towards not ever going for Yingqing. If I get him, cool, I'll use him. That kind of explains my thought processing. That changed a little bit from, when we made the other videos, I recommended Bronya and Welt, but that kind of changed my perception on a lot of things, seeing other people play with those characters. I haven't had the chance to get Bronya or, any other character like Bailu, for instance. I had Himiko. I think Himiko is amazing. I would definitely, love to have her in my account in the future because, like I said before, this character is good for AoE damage. I don't have to talk too much on it. We had a guide video. Maybe I'll put that link in the description. But yeah, the light cones are really good. You can get these from the shop. I've said this many, many times. I guess I kind of am explaining this again because the beta should go away tomorrow at the time I'm recording this. So this is kind of our last day to check out what's in the beta before we wait for the game to be released, which I will have this will be a different video from the release video we'll have probably tomorrow. We'll probably talk about the release date when that could be for sure, and the pre-registration because those numbers look a little high this time around. So yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow. But I guess wrapping up the video here, the newbie banner. I'm gonna skip the newbie banner altogether. I don't recommend summoning on it. I just don't think it's valuable. You can't get more than 1 5-star as far as I've seen. So I've seen people, get a 5-star in a first 10 pool, and then after that you're not getting anything else of value because at that point you can't get another 5-star in your newbie banner. So I just want to skip it entirely and try to get a character on the Stellar Warp. Now, that's 10, counted towards a pity here. And as I said before, the hitting the pity on this is going to be really difficult to begin with, but also something to take into consideration. Getting 2 5-stars in 110 pool anyways is probably what I want to opt for the most. And you can't get a 2 5-star in 110 pool on the newbie banner as far as I know and as far as I've seen. Now, like I said before, I could be entirely wrong on this, and if I'm wrong, I will definitely update you all. But as far as I know, as far as I've seen, you cannot get 2 5-stars in 110 pool on the newbie banner, considering that there is a guarantee at 50 for one 5-star. I don't think they would give us 2 5-stars in the newbie banner. That's just what I'm saying. There's no fine print saying you can't get no, double 5-star, but, let's be honest, right? If you're summoning at 10 and you get a 5-star and you go all the way to 50, you don't get another 5-star. That lets me believe that you can't get more than one 5-star. But yeah, anyways, that's my thought processing, and I will skip that banner and go on this one entirely and try to get, Bronya, maybe Bailu together. Try to get Bronya and her, her light cone, maybe Bronya and Bailu's light cone. Try to get a combination that's going to set up my account for the future. Oh yeah, of course, let me know what characters you all are going for. Like I said, we've had many videos for the beta, so I'm kind of curious to see if any of your thought processes have changed. Maybe you want a different character than you want the first time around, or maybe you still want the same characters from before. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below, and have a nice rest of your day.